What's up guys, it's Josh with the Preset Bros, and today I'm going to show you how I made the lead pluck for this banger right here. Alright guys, so that is the sound we'll be going over today, and if you don't want to miss out on any of our future content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you can become masters of your sound. And without any further ado, let's jump in. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and hear that pluck soloed really quick. So just a really nice, solid kind of analog pluck. I've been jamming a lot of New Aspect recently in like Elderbrook and all those guys, and just kind of been inspired to make that really chill, vibey house style. And so this was kind of this whole production right here was inspired in that style, and I really fell in love with this pluck. So let's go ahead and jump into the sound. So for oscillator A, I have the saw rounded wavetable. I have the wavetable position at 9, and that's pretty much all that's going on here. I went with the Serum stock wave for oscillator B. Everything's pretty normal there. I am sending these guys into an MG low 24. I have the cutoff set to 40 Hertz. I'm also sending a noise, the J106 high pass noise, over to the filter as well. I did crank the pitch up to 84% and the level to 31. As far as shaping the sound, I'm using envelope 2, and I pulled the decay back 533 milliseconds and pulled that sustain back to 16.91, just to kind of get this shape. I don't know if you can see it right here, for that pluckiness. I went ahead and gave it a little bit of release of 193 milliseconds. I am modulating the filter with envelope 2 by 48, and again with that pluck shape, it just whips it into that higher frequencies and brings it back down really tight just to create that nice pluck that you hear. The last thing I went ahead and did on this front page I want to touch on is the velocity knob. So I am modulating the velocity here to the cutoff at 36, and if we want to look at that in the MIDI just really quick, you can see all of my notes here, and then the velocity. And in this chord progression, or this little pattern, I wanted these top notes really loud, and I wanted these more reserved. And if we listen to that, I kind of did that with the velocity. So on all of these loud notes, or high notes, you can see they're all maxed out at the velocity, and these ones here are a little lower, and we can hear that. It kind of opens up the cutoff just a little more to highlight these top notes, and that's a little trick that I like to do using this velocity section right here. That pretty much wraps up the front page. Let's dive into the effects. So for the effects, I kicked it off with a little bit of hyper and dimension. I have the mix knob of the hyper to 40%. For the dimension, I have the size at 15 and the mix at 18, and that's just kind of giving it that width and depth. Next, I went ahead and went with some compression, just the basic setting, with a gain boost of 8.5, and then I pulled the mix knob down to 68%. I then polished it up with a little bit of distortion. I went with the diode 2 setting, just I really like the grit that it has to offer. The drive is at 21% and the mix is at 75%. Now, anytime I use a more intense distortion setting, I always like to follow it up with a filter. Now, I know that we have a filter here, but remember, all this is getting sent then through the processing chain, so that means this distortion is after this filter. And when that happens, this distortion, any kind of distortion or saturation, can add additional harmonic frequencies. So if I were to take this filter off, we can go ahead and listen to the sound. So by having the filter on after the distortion, any of those additional harmonic frequencies that are added will get cut off, and so you can still beef up the bass of the sound with that distortion, but then roll off any of those highs. So for the filter section, I do have the cutoff set to 40 Hertz, and I'm modulating it with envelope 2 by 66. which is a little more. I modulated the cutoff here by 48 with envelope 2 as well. That's pretty much it for this filter. I then finished the sound off with delay and reverb. For the delay, I just have it on the 1/8 dot setting. I pushed it up into the higher, kind of honing in on those upper frequencies. I checked the ping pong, and then I have the wet knob at 30%. I finished with a hall reverb. Everything's pretty much the same, except I did boost the low cut a little bit and the high cut. The low cut at 29 and the high cut at 35, and then the mix knob at 34%. That pretty much wraps up the Pluck as is. Like I said, as far as sound design goes, it was a pretty simple sound. Something I did notice though was when doing your MIDI, outside of the velocity trick, you also want to kind of shift all of these notes off grid to kind of give it a nice groove and swing. I don't want to make this a full-on music production video. I do want to focus on the preset, but that's why kind of playing sounds in with your hand will really help you out a lot, so it doesn't sound just super stagnant. So it's kind of the combination of all those things with this sound that really pulls it off and gives it that really nice poppy groove. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up the video. We do have a free gift for you guys, and that is this analog Pluck down below for free. If you guys want to download the preset, go in the description and we have that ready for you there. Also, if you like the serum skin I'm using in this video, we have a special going on our website where if you buy any of our packs, which are actually all $4.99, the price of a coffee, if you buy any of them, you get this serum skin completely free. So definitely go check that out. Again, there's a link in the description. Also, if there's any other sounds in this production, like maybe the bass line or the pads on the buildup or anything like that that you want me to show you how I made those, definitely put a comment down below and I would love to do a video on that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, stay creative.